Hi, I'm Jim Shorkey. Recently, the question was posed to me of what is the number one mistake that salespeople make in general. And my answer is they make the mistake of assuming. And what I'm going to teach you today is a method as to how you figure out what is most important to the client, number one. Number two, why is that so important to the client? And then I'm going to proceed to sell from that perspective. And as I do that, the value of what I'm presenting in the client's mind is going to go up. This is value upselling. And as we increase the value and increase the value and increase the value, and I'll show you how to do that, we pretty much don't even have to ask the customer to buy the car. They're going to want to buy the car because I've created so much value. That's what Rethink Sales is all about. How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet. Before we get into the idea of selling something, we need to have a very quick interview with the client.
Yes.
And we need to find out what is most important to the client.
That's right.
And I do this by letting them know. I'm talking cars now. I'm going to let you know, Mrs. Client, that we have 1,000 cars on the lot right now, 1,000 cars. And we can't possibly look at them all. There's just not enough time. So before we go off and look at cars, I'd like to narrow it down somewhat. So with your permission, I would like to ask you a few questions, which are really important so that I can identify what maybe makes the most sense. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this process that we call car, automotive, from beginning to end, and I'm talking shopping for the car, buying a car, owning the car, and even down the road, keeping the car 5 years from now. In this process that we call your automobile relationship, what is most important to you? Would you mind if I took some notes here? Because I want to make sure I capture everything you tell me. So you tell me A. Wonderful. What is next most important to you? And you tell me B. And I write it down. What is next most important to you? You tell me C. And I write it down. What is next most important to you? And you tell me D. And I know how long is this going to go on? The client will tell me when we've done enough.
Fascinating.
Leave them make this call. Because what I found with this idea is that oftentimes the most important one is 5 or 6. It surfaces because they've had a chance to ponder it and think about it. And I caught them off guard. They weren't expecting this.
Right.
So keep asking until they say something like, I think that's enough. So now I've got a list. Let's say it's 7 items. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I take my list and I say, hey, Derek, you mentioned that the most important thing to you was price. Beyond the obvious, why is price so important to you? And you mentioned that safety was important to you. Now, Derek, beyond the obvious, why is safety so important to you? Answer that question, please.
Because of my children, right? Because of my family.
Are you listening?
Yep.
Are you listening? And how many children do you have, Derek?
I have 3.
And what are their names, Derek?
Josiah, Mirabelle, and Ario.
Oh, wow. Beautiful names. Great. So, yeah, I thought, of course we want them to be safe. You mentioned that you were concerned about service/reliability, the reliability of the car and also the service after the sale. Beyond the obvious, why is that so important to you, Derek? Please answer the question.
Certain brands just seem like they're more reliable, right? And I don't necessarily want to buy a car every 2 years or maybe even every 5 years. I'd like to keep it for 10 if I could. And having a reliable vehicle that I know will hold up over time means I think I get a better value for my investment.
So you want long-term reliability. Just curious, have you had the experience of having bad long-term reliability?
Honestly, no.
You've been pretty fortunate.
Yeah. I've had 3 vehicles and all of them have lasted me around at least 10 years. Yeah,
now, do you see how I'm moving him from logic into emotion? And I'm accentuating that this is important to him. And he's had the good experience of having the good experience. And so he wants that again. And so we have to, and then we're going to sell to that. And we're going to keep going with our list. And so now I'm down to number 7, and I say, okay, I got all the reasons why. Don't be surprised if you see a few tears. It happens, I'm telling you. And okay, so we're down with 7, right? Now, Derek, anything else you thought of in the meantime that is really important to you?
I think gas mileage is actually pretty important.
Write it down.
I didn't mention that before, but I think it is because If something only gets 15 miles to a gallon, we're going to be filling up quite a lot. Maybe something like a hybrid or something could be helpful to look into.
So the better the gas mileage, the better, right? Anything else you thought of in the meantime?
I don't think so. I think that was it.
Okay. I'm going to hit this list again. Like I'm going to do my presentation, but now here's what I'm going to present from the list. Say, Derek, when you came in, you said that safety was important to you. Do you mind if I take a few minutes and show you the different safety features of this vehicle?
That's brilliant. So you're just not going through like a prescribed.
No, that's why I hear people talk about a 24-point walk around in the automobile business. Nope. I hate that. They're like, you would think somebody would come in on a Porsche and want to go fast. This is what salespeople do. You asked about a mistake. So Derek's here. I have a Porsche. He's on the Porsche, and I put him in the car, and I take off like a bat out of hell and scare the living daylights out of him. He doesn't want to go fast. I never asked him. I'm assuming he wants to go fast. But in the meantime, he just likes the looks of the car. So would I be better off to go fast in the car and scare the daylights out of him? Or maybe just take a nice ride, turn the music on, we're relaxed, maybe show him a little bit how the acceleration works, but not so. And then maybe at some turnaround point, let's take a look at this car, Derek. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm going to
brilliant.
Derek.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go fast.
You're determining what I desire, what I need.
And why. So that's the mistake the salespeople make. They make a lot of assumptions about the client.
Good.
And they're just not tapping into what the idea is, what's most important to you and why. And we talk a lot about this in goal setting. There's a reason why I make you cry. When you do this the right way with a client, they will get tearful. And when you see them getting tearful, you'll know. We want to get the client on emotion and off of logic. Okay? Does that answer your question? That's a roundabout way of answering your question.
Yeah, it answers my question brilliantly, because I think what it does is it actually connects with the person, right? You're selling to real people, not objects to be sold to.
That's the whole idea. That's why I don't believe in walk-arounds. I believe in walk-arounds with intention. I believe in demonstration rides with intention. And just because you're looking at a Porsche doesn't mean you want to go fast.
Right.
And that's probably the best example I can give you metaphorically. Just because you're looking at a Porsche doesn't mean you want to go fast. It just doesn't. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, guys. We'll see you.
Thank you.
on the next episode.
I feel blessed. Thank you.